यतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूरये सच्चित् सुख स्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे. That was an excellent talk by Srinivas Garu. So wonderful introduction of Swami Vivekananda's contribution to Sanatana Dharma. So I congratulate the Manavata team for the wonderful initiative of starting Samskara Kendras with the intention of propagating Samskara Vidya. So we need that more. We need that now more than before. Yes, Swami Vivekananda said, neither money pays nor much learning. It is character that cleaves its way through adamantine walls of difficulties. So character actually is to empower oneself. Without that, even if you have the best of the education in the world, it's of no use. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to say, so you add 0 to 0, it is 0 again. You add any number of zeros, but it is 0. But you have 1, that is character, and then keep adding zeros. So the value of, you'll keep increasing. So without character, nothing counts. Vivekananda again and again said this. That today actually is the International Day of Human Fraternity Day. Iswa Manava Saubhratratva Dinotsavam. Vivekananda Swamiji, September 11, 1893 ఇచ్చినటువంటి ఆ చారిత్రాత్మక ఉపన్యాసం ఇప్పుడు ప్రపంచంలో విశ్వ మానవ సౌభ్రాతృత్వాన్ని పెంచడానికి to promote universal brotherhood, that lecture has helped a lot. And the power of the lecture we can infer from the way actually it survived the test of time. It is so fresh in the minds of the people. It became so historic. It became so popular. It struck chord in the hearts of millions and millions of people across the globe. Swamiji wanted, Swamiji wished, Swamiji hoped that all uncharitable feelings between different communities, between people of different religions would vanish hereafter. Because he said, the bell that tolled good morning in honor of this convention, you're talking about the Chicago's convention, may turn to be the death knell for all the uncharitable feelings between people wending their way towards the same goal, namely God. But has that been the situation? No. Many wars we have fought since then. There is a lot of discord between country and country. We are not able to integrate with each other, though we all belong to the same species, human species. Though we are all created by the same God, the same sun shines on every country, the same air blows across all the nations. The rivers flow, they don't make any geographical distinction between country and country. So this country is an artificial line with which we have drawn. So we need not so intensely identify with our own geography, with our own nationality. We should develop that universal brotherhood feeling that human being is one species. We have been actually are inhabiting one earth. So wonderful message Swamiji has given there. And also he presented a beautiful paper on Hinduism on 19th September 1893. So the basic tenets of Hinduism, the basic tenets of Sanatana Dharma, he had expounded there. So we need to be, as Srinivas Garu told, we need to be proud about our Dharma, and it's unique in the world. As Swamiji pointed out in his first lecture, that we not only tolerate, we accept all religions as true. So we never consider our religion as superior to other religions. So because of that, Hindu actually could promote peace like no other race has done before. And if you just see the human history, through Sanatana Dharma, we never fought wars in the name of religion, at least on this geography. And there is a beautiful saying in Bible where Jesus said, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. If there is a race actually which has promoted, the peace among all the humanity, among all the races of the world, since actually the origin of its civilization, that is actually Sanatana Dharma. The race actually is the Hindu race. Swamiji said that I feel proud. So to say that actually our race has been gentle, has been kind, actually has been tolerant, has been non-violent all through the ages. We have never crossed our borders. to conquer other nations. We have never indulged in bloodshed. We have never tried to grow at the expense of other races. So I'm very proud to say that actually my race actually has been the mildest of all the races in the world. That's not a negative trait, it's a positive trait. We have been gentle, not only to human beings, we have been gentle to all the entire creation, for all other creatures also, because all creatures are also created by the same Lord. And there is actually a wonderful message for the youth of the country and for the children who are studying in schools. And today, the most important thing is you need to nourish your brain, nourish your mind with positive thoughts, good thoughts, strength-giving thoughts. We all understand actually feeding the body. We all understand actually nourishment to the body. We eat 3 times just to keep our body going and to keep our physical body strong. But we need to focus on the mind also. The world is such, today actually we are making children pass to such competition, and for very childhood, very early in life, parents keep telling, teachers keep telling the children that you have to perform, you have to prove yourself, you have to get good ranks, you have to get good score. And we make them compete with fellow students. And in the process, because of this comparison and because of this competition, the psyche naturally gets distorted, that children find it difficult actually to integrate with the rest of the life. And the focus actually has not been much on cultivating the heart, cultivating the feeling. From the childhood, actually, you have to ask the children actually to expand their consciousness. Vivekananda says expansion is life, contraction is death. How you can expand your consciousness? Through selfless service, through service to other human beings, through prayer, through repetition of God's name, and through meditation. These are all the methods and the techniques that we need to teach to our children from childhood, so that actually their consciousness keeps expanding and they'll become more and more powerful. This is how actually we need to empower them. So without empowering them, without enhancing their competencies, without enhancing their capacities, you're asking them to perform. And the child will break down automatically. And when you say that actually, if you don't perform well, if you don't get good score, good marks, actually, there's no survival for you. Unconsciously, we are instilling a kind of fear into the psyche of the child. And fear actually, Swami said, is the biggest enemy of man. Once actually fear grips the psyche of the child, he will not be able to perform well, he or she. And automatically fear acts as the greatest enemy. So we have to help them actually grow their consciousness, expand their consciousness. We have to help them nurture their feeling that entire life is part of you, and you are actually in every life. So all life belongs to you. So Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, the whole universe actually is occupied or covered with God. Ishavash-vidam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat. So we have to tell them actually to cover everything that is seen in the world with God. Because everything is that oneness, everything is that supreme. So by telling this, actually, we'll be able to enhance their competencies. Enormous power, enormous energy comes of such an individual whose consciousness is expanded. And Vivekananda insists on this more. So there is this potential spark in every child, the potential divinity. The goal of education is to help the child to manifest the divine. Vivekananda says education is the manifestation of perfection already in every individual, already in man. So this perfection is there, this infinite energy is there, the storehouse of energy is there in the name of soul, in the name of consciousness. But are we able to manifest that? And Swami said education should help in that direction. Education should help the child to touch the deepest core of his or our own being. And then he will become infinitely powerful, just as Vivekananda became. And if you just see our education system, it is just doing the reverse. Instead of helping the child to come close to that infinite source of happiness, infinite source of power, namely the soul of consciousness, the way we teach education, it helps the child to exclude himself. I am separate, others are separate, others are my competitors, and so actually I have nothing to do with them. As I am competing with them, they are practically kind of enemies to me. And that's how actually it happens. Why actually India has become so corrupt today? Because of this kind of educational system, where actually it doesn't help you to integrate with the rest of the life. And now actually you think actually you have got a license actually to grow at the expense of your fellow human beings, to grow at the expense of your fellow citizens. And so without any scruples, actually people are indulging in corruption. In a country where the highest teaching, namely that the whole thing is Brahman, that others are also part of you. There's nothing other than you in the true sense of the term. Others are part of you because we are all children of the same Lord. And do we feel it in our practical life? Do we have such a sense of feeling, sense of oneness, sense of identification with other human beings? It is not there. That's what actually corruption is all about. So such a situation actually we have created because by not giving the great spiritual wisdom that we have inherited from our forefathers, from our rishis, a lot of damage has happened to Indian society already. And so such initiative, the initiative that Manavata has taken, that samskara vidya, focusing more on samskara, more on culture, more on training the heart, are very important. And once the heart is trained, when the heart is expanded, And making a living and getting a job actually is not at all difficult for any child, because that infinite energy actually feels from within. So making a living and getting a job actually is a very small thing for a species like human beings. And we are just like any other animal today, we are doing it. And also with great fuss, with great effort, with great struggle, actually people get one job and they think actually they become actually great achievers in life. And see Vivekananda, see Mahatma Gandhi, see Buddha, they never competed with their fellow human beings. They just focused on themselves, they went deep into their own being and they touched the deepest core of their being, and they could create history and not they shape their civilization. They give a direction to human civilization. Why certain people become so powerful? Because of the divine energy that they could tap in. And so we have to help all the children actually to move towards the general. The goal of life is to move from the particular to the general, from the diversity to actually that unity. There is that unity behind all this apparent diversity, and we have to help them to travel towards that infinite consciousness, actually, which is the true strength of true source of power, true source of intelligence, and which is the true existence, that is the immortal existence. So these things, these great noble teachings of rishis have given us, actually are not part of the curriculum today in any school or college. Thanks to our secularism, we have completely set aside the spiritual education, the spiritual thought. In the name that actually it is a religion, it's a belief, it's a faith. But this is not part of a religion, this is not part of faith and belief, actually. We never had a belief. It is actually science. It is subject to science, science of man. Today we are studying under the name science, the external science, the science of the physical world, physics, chemistry, biology, science, engineering. What science it is? It is material science, science of the external physical universe. What about the science of this? Science of this means not just medicine, how to control thoughts, how to control emotions, how to master myself, how to attain self-mastery. They all form the subject of spiritual science. So we have been actually adepts and we have been experts in the spiritual science, and no other race has this much of spiritual knowledge. And we need to give this knowledge to our children so that they will become great human beings and great individuals of this great country. So I'm very happy. I again congratulate Manavata Foundation for the wonderful service that they have been doing. And they wanted to expand their samskara kendras. It's very good. So I invoke the blessings of Vivekananda upon them all, that they expand their work phenomenally and they reach out to every school in rural areas and semi-urban areas. And it's a wonderful initiative because not much of the wisdom that we have inherited from this modern Rishi Vivekananda has become part of the curriculum. Then we have to give it and as a separate capsule, as a separate curriculum parallel to the normal curriculum that's going on. We have been trying to get some of the best teachings of Vivekananda as part of the curriculum through CBSE and through SCRTs, but not much is happening. But still, we are not disappointed. We'll try. And parents also, I request, teachers also, I request, introduce Vivekananda to children early in life. You know, they are doing great service to them. They make Vivekananda their leader, their icon, their role model, and their philosopher and guide and friend. There's nothing like that. They will become complete human beings. They will become holistic human beings. They will become integral human beings. And then they will understand their true potential and capacity. And then they will become, a source of pride to you, to teachers, to parents. And also they will become the source of great pride to the nation in which they live. So once again, I congratulate you all for the wonderful initiative that you have taken. And this is in fact a blessed day. And we are remembering the great message of Vivekananda that he had delivered at Chicago. And I just conclude my speech and close my speech by just telling you actually who discovered Vivekananda. In fact, it was India, not India, who discovered Vivekananda. The America which discovered Vivekananda. Americans actually had appreciated his thought and his philosophy and his speeches. And Vivekananda had faced so much of difficulty. And in the beginning, actually, it was very hard for him to reach to this Chicago Parliament of Religions, as mentioned by Srinivas Garu. And actually, he went to Vancouver, from Vancouver to Chicago, but Chicago was very costly. He moved from Chicago to Boston. On the way, actually, he got introduced to an Cathay Sanborn, and that he stayed with her for some days in her country home. And afterwards, Swamiji got introduced to Harvard University Greek Professor Wright. And Swamiji went there without any credentials from any recognized organization, because all other participants at the Parliament of Religions, they came with credentials, with letters, as to which organization they were representing. But Vivekananda had nothing of that sort. And then they told them, actually, without any credentials, without any introductory letter from the reputed organization, and you cannot participate in Chicago Parliament of Religions. But Hinduism is not an organized religion. We have n number of organizations. So which organization to take a letter? So Swamiji just went there like that. And then in Chicago, that Harvard University Greek professor, after interacting with Swamiji for 3 or 4 hours, he could come to know the genius of Swami Vivekananda. And then Swami, he told, famous words you must remember, who is Vivekananda, what he has done to this nation. And he said that here is Swamiji, don't worry, asking you for credentials is like asking the sun what right it has to shine. He writes two-line introductory introductory words for Swami Vivekananda. He says, here is a man who is more learned than all of our learned professors put together. He writes to Dr. Barrows, who was organizing the Chicago Parliament of Religions, where actually this professor, right, of Harvard University, Greek professor, he writes, introducing Vivekananda, here is a man who is more learned than all of our learned professors put together. That's how Vivekananda was introduced to the Parliament of Religion by the Harvard University professor. Afterwards, what happened, we all know. It's a history. When Swamiji addressed the sisters and brothers of America, because the man of self-realization, he touched the deepest chord in their hearts, and they really felt that fraternal feeling when he uttered these words. And then they, gave standing ovation. 2 minutes or 3 minutes they stood, and then they clapped. And then Vivekananda afterwards, the whole across the length and breadth of America, he traveled for 2.5 years and giving them the best tenets of Sanatana Dharma and giving the message of Vedanta to them. And I all felt elevated. The whole civilization felt elevated with his presence. And I received the Vedanta. And since then, actually, he has been the pioneer. And since then, many Swamis have gone there, many organizations have gone there, and they're still continuing their work. And we have conquered practically America with our spiritual thought. And people had been thinking, India was actually a country of fools, a country of superstitious people, very backward country, a renegade country. And actually, it was right actually for British people to rule over them. And after listening to Vivekananda, they understood the greatness of Indian civilization. And Swamiji, in a way, brought our self-glory and brought the respect back to India. And so his contribution is really immense. And we have not celebrated him as much as we ought to have celebrated post-independence, particularly post-74, after introducing the word secular in the Constitution. The best and soul-elevating teachings of Vivekananda have been set aside, and we have deprived 2 generations of people from this nectar, from this elixir that Vivekananda's message is. And now we are paying the price for that. The kind of selfishness or the corruption that we see in the society is a direct consequence, a byproduct of not exposing 2 generations of people to the best of the spiritual thought this country has. And Vivekananda actually is the modern interpreter. Actually, it has been there all through, actually. The Rishi's wisdom, the modern Rishi, who spoke in English, the language of the day, and actually enlightened not only the Westerners, enlightened Indians also as to the greatness of their cultural and spiritual heritage. So I once again congratulate Manavata Foundation for the wonderful work they are doing. I understand Srinivas Garu, he has a lot of feeling and a lot of passion, and he speaks from the heart, and he wanted to do some good to the society, and we need more such people. So I congratulate all the teachers and also his team for being part of a noble mission and for working with a soul actually who is sincere to the core of his being. So may Vivekananda bless you all. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I convey my good wishes to all the children. All the best for the competition. May God bless you all.